butcher language. Oh yeah.
Oh!
Well, hello and welcome back to the Weighted Native Chronicles. What we're going to do today is we're going to skin butcher the ham of a black bear. So, got a couple of pictures of that hunt. This bear was taken just yesterday. So, meat's been sitting for about 24 hours and it's still pretty soft. And I'm going to start off by admitting that I'm not the world's greatest butcher, but I usually find my way along. It's, you know, knowing where exactly the muscle groups are and stuff like that. It's sort of a matter of exploring in my case. And if you do it the right way, I'll show you. You can just kind of figure out where the seams in the muscle groups are and do just a perfectly good job. So let's hope I don't mess this up, and we'll get started. Okay, let's see where we should go here. Now, I'm looking at this meat here. Let's see, get an idea of where the muscle groups are. And here's a pretty clear indication of a seam. You can see right in there. So I think we got definitely a good muscle group right here. And if I feel along in here, I can kind of feel where it goes. It may seem like I'm cutting blind when I do this, but once I get through this little the silver skin and stuff, and I pull it apart as I'm cutting, it's going to become quite clear what's going on here. So let's see, maybe I'll sit down and do this. Let's just get a cut going here. I'm going to pull it apart really good. Once you get a start, then it's not so bad. Now you can see that it's already pulling away from there. See, whoops, I went a little past where I should have. Cut into there a little bit, but that's okay. See, you can almost rip it apart. Put in a little bit of spreading pressure on the meat as I cut along. Yeah, everything's coming along nicely. You know, you could just start wherever is the most obvious place to cut. That's always my general rule, whether it's with this or with skinning an animal even too. Because if you run into a place where it seems like it's difficult, just move to an easier, more obvious place to do the work. And then the other parts just sort of start to reveal themselves as you go along. And you can see here, this is coming off just nicely. Hopefully that's all in camera view there. Now, you can see here, must be, if I look on this side, must be a muscle group there. Trying to figure out where this one goes. You can see from the end here that it's more or less right there. If you don't see where to go looking from one side, flip it over and look at the other. There, now you can see that's a nice little roast there. This is a spring bear, so it's not a whole lot of fat on it, but it's got some. And the fat from bear is really good. So let's move on to another one. Let's see about the next piece. Now, general rule of thumb again, I'm going to go for the most obvious pieces. And I'm feeling along the bone here. So we got the bone, and I can feel it solid right there. So this piece here is coming right along that. So let's just try separate that out. I'm going to take it right off the bone. This is not rocket science. Yeah, I'm going to go down to the end here. Come right up here. Just cutting along the bone here. There we go. Okay. Now, where do I go? Now, most obvious, I think, is around here. And I can see, looks like there's a seam running through here. And you just feel the meat. You kind of, I'm going to take a dive in here. Okay. A little hard to do with the camera here. Oh yeah, there we go. Now I'm thinking this should come through here. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Yeah. No, you know what? I think I'll just keep on going around the bone. Be on the safe side. I'm not exactly sure where that next muscle group ends up. So I do know that it comes through here. I can be quite sure. So what I'll do is I'll come along through here. Okay, yeah, now it's all becoming clear. Then, as I see this, see, I think this part here is the edge of the muscle seam. Yeah, there, found the seam right there. See? And there may be pieces within there too that I will separate out as well. It's going to take a little while, but you know, I'm not getting paid by the hour or anything. If I was a professional butcher, I'd sure be losing my job because I'm just taking too long, but you're doing it for yourself. You got the freedom to do it whatever way suits you. See here, I can see pretty clearly that there's a muscle group here. By muscle group, I mean that can be a group of muscles, more than one. When I get it apart, I'll break down those groups some more if I like. It depends on what size of steaks you want, roasts you want, of course. As you can see, I'm just following wherever I'm not, see where I cut here, that little cut there, that's going into fresh meat, but you don't want to have that. Wherever you're cutting, you just got to be silver skin showing. As long as you're doing that, you know you're on the right track. See there, This is all coming off just like nothing, eh? Hopefully I'm not. There we go. Not hiding it from the camera too much. Good. It's just, some of this will just have to be cut on through like that. There. So now there's a big roast. I mean, some of this ends here are dried that can be cut off or kept. But within this, you can see there are more muscle groups, and I'll decide on how, maybe with my wife's input, how much further we want to break this down, because I could, but that's actually kind of a nice roast just like it is there, so nothing wrong with that. So now let's take this guy, and again, you know, if I'm breaking this one down, I'm going to be pulling it apart real hard and trying to find the seams. This one is basically a repeat what I did before. I'm just following the bone, right? Okay. Now let's see what we got here. I'll just follow this knuckle here a bit. Get that loosened off so that the meat can kind of come off nicely. Just like being a surgeon. Oh, look at that. Nothing to it. Eh. Gotta be careful. Unlike me, you have to be careful that you don't cut yourself when you're doing this stuff. Because these knives are sharp. And of course, I didn't mention it specifically, but you do want to have a sharp knife when you're doing this. So for that reason, I've always got a sharpening steel with me right here. You want to sharpen it, it's just a matter of, you don't have to do it fast like professionals do, just setting up the edge, especially when you're cutting against bone. It tells the knife blade quite quickly. So this is a little chunk here. That could be stew meat or whatever. Oh, here we got another nice ham. So I can see here that this is a pretty big piece. I could probably separate this. It's actually kind of fun, sort of exploring, because you don't know where it's going to lead you. But you can see as I'm cutting through here, spreading it. Putting spreading pressure on there. Gently stroke the seams. It doesn't take heavy cutting to do it. And just follow the yellow brick road. How big the pieces you want to butcher depends a lot on your needs too, the size of your family, that sort of thing. We're retired now, so we have a lot of meals on our own, meaning that smaller one meal portions for my wife and I are more the ideal. Now this part here I'm taking off is just a very thin shell over a big muscle group. It is good to get that off of there. Cook better. I'm sort of pulling this around to keep it in camera view. Okay, yeah, I think we can go through here. There. Now we got another piece of meat. Now this is definitely stew type meat here. But now we've got things are starting to shape up here. Now, where else can we go? Well, there's a, see if we see here. There's probably one right here too. You can see it. Hey? It's kinda, you can just take it and rip it apart, actually. See? And actually just rip it. Now if I took the knife in there, I may not know where it's going now, but once I do this, okay, once you loosen it off a bit, it all starts to tear apart. This may not be the ideal viewing angle for the camera. Hopefully you can see that. See the wind is starting to pick up here. I think we're going to get some rain here real quick, so I might have to shut things down. Okay, so that's it for now. Well, we had to have a sudden change of venue here because that wind just picked up like crazy out of nowhere. You get the set up here a little bit. Okay, but I'm going to just continue on where we started here. Just showing how this is done. I think a lot of people don't do this because of the unknown factor. I think maybe, well, it's precious, good meat. I don't want to, I should bring it to a butcher just in case I screw it up. But you know, if you always do that through your life, then you never learn anything. So, even if you make a screw up, you're better off to do it yourself. Because when you screw up, you learn something. And then you have that knowledge for next time. So it's never a waste. You can see here, I have to be careful I don't cut through to my fingers. And don't just pull it apart. There, so there's a nice, better muscle group there. Some little pieces like that, you can just cut that off, throw that away. Stew meat. Okay, so that now you know there's probably another seam inside here. And I can feel it, kind of flimsy in there. We'll try to pull it apart a little bit. We'll see what happens. You can see there is a seam in there. There, just get your fingers in there, let your fingers do the walking. There. Well, do I want to take that apart or not? I could. I'll just, yeah, I can see that. Has to come through here, but anytime you can pull it apart, that's muscle group. Now, that said, I may be overdoing it with this, but when it's cooking, when you're cooking a meal and presenting it to eat, it is better that you have these pieces separated, I think. So now we've got another piece of meat here, and this piece is now, that's just like a steak, like a T-bone steak, isn't it? Beautiful. So yeah, this is nicely cut apart, and just because I decided to dig my fingers in there and find another seam. Now you can see here, I've got another seam too. I can almost put my fingers through there. So I know we've got something here. So this is where it's nice to have a sharp knife. so you don't have to use too much pressure. Sorry if I get my hands in the way there, but hopefully I'm not in the way too much there. Okay. I'm doing it this way because I'm letting the weight of the meat pull the seams apart. As you can see there, that's going through nicely. Pull it a little bit. Okay, and look at that there. Now that's kind of a stringy piece. I'm going to leave this fat on there because my wife sometimes render this stuff down. It makes really good stuff. So we'll see what. I'm not going to throw any of this away. But normally you would cut off. You just trim off this fat. In fact, I'll do that right now. So there's that piece of fat off there. And we're left with this. This one's still got the fat sitting on there. Decide what to do with that later. We can take it off or leave it on. It's kind of one of those things that's personal taste too. Because I know with venison, a lot of people are always saying, oh, you gotta just get all that fat off the venison. It tastes terrible, you know. Well, actually what they're talking about is that the fat on deer meat, when it gets cold, it becomes like glue on the roof of your mouth, and it's not very nice. So I can understand people want to get it off, but that's because they're waiting for the fat to get cold. And when the fat on the venison gets cold, it becomes that real it's not very palatable. But when you eat deer fat when it's hot and it's still fluid, it's the best fat there is, I think, or among the best. See here, I'm just trying to get so a lot of this stuff is personal taste. Now here I've got a muscle group, and I'm tempted to do most of this by tearing, because the piece of meat that it is quite narrow, so it's easy for the knife to go a little bit astray. Now, see this? Maybe it needs a little bit of help here. Just help it along a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. See there? Okay, so this piece is more or less done. Might have gone a little bit astray on it, but that's not too bad. Okay, there's another chunk of meat out of this. So I've got some twigs. This meat here, this chunk here is nice, just like that. That's taken down all the way. So you can see we're getting all these pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And we've still got more to go. So, where to start? I like to start where I know I can start. And I can see here is a muscle group, right? sure you're starting to get the idea now, if you haven't before watching this. See, as this goes in there, and see there's another seam opening up. But we'll stoke that open with a knife. There. She just unfolds for you, right before your very eyes. And I'll cut through this fat here. Hopefully you can see this clear. There we go. If your knife starts getting dull, then by all means sharpen it. There we go. Let's see. Let's come along there. As long as you've got spreading pressure on the meat, the cutting is easy, because it'll pull apart on its own. Boy, the wind is really blowing outside. I had a sudden storm just coming on. I'm trying to hold this at an angle where the camera can still see. Hopefully I'm successful. Parts where you have to cut through the outer fat a little bit. Get that off of there. See, this outer shell of meat has come off. There we go. And you know, there's kind of a muscle group right here. Like, it's kind of one of these things that once you start, it's like a Pandora's box. Once you start going, you can just, seems like you just keep on going forever. But I'm going to just take this down a little bit more, because it's awkward a little bit doing this while holding it for view with the camera, but we'll get her. Okay, I'm just going to come on through here, because I think that's what it is. Yep. There, so now this kind of casing meat is off too, and we're left more with a pure piece of meat, good for cutting up and making stir fries and all kinds of stuff with it. Now this one should be interesting. I think I'm on to the next piece. Yeah. Now I can see here that I got a pretty good seam running down here. And as we go through this, we're getting into more and more subtle traces of where the muscle groups are, I think you could say. But you can still do it. It's you can see here, there's a seam, right? It's got to be, right? So let's just kind of stroke this and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, right? See, as soon as I do that, things start to open up. There we go. I'm just going to go wherever I can see is clearly a seam. And then when I go back to the parts that are not as clear, then they become clear by that time. Whoops. little whoopsie, and just pull the meat apart. So it shows you where to go. Okay. They got all kinds of muscle groups here. This is getting pretty interesting here. I'll just pull it apart as much as I can. Okay, we'll just motor on ahead. There, now I can get some spreading force on it. Actually, it helps a lot if you have a helper. Then they can apply that spreading motion on the meat while you cut. And I would normally have my wife doing that, but she's camera shy, so I'm just gonna go for broke here. I'm gonna take this piece here. Take that right off here. Okay. There's a certain point where you're just coming to the end. As you can see, this is pretty clear. It's got to go. It's got to happen here, right? Now, see, this stuff just about all pulls right apart. Okay, now it's very clear. There's another muscle group right here, right? See, there seems to be a seam there. Yeah. I'm not sure where you're going. Just start from the end, and then you start pulling it apart. See, there's kind of where it wants to go. I think there's just some connecting tissue there. Now, let's see. I think that must go right about like so. So, there's another piece. Now, how about this piece? Should I just leave that as it is? That actually looks like a nice roast. Okay, so hopefully I'm not going off camera too far with you there, but you know, there's a roast. This one here, that's a real nice roast right there, and I actually don't think there's much need to break this guy down. So hopefully that's helped you out some. Well, I think we're done. Got no wasted meat. And this is one ham here done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these are kind of marginal pieces. There's another piece like this as well. So a good 10 roasts, or whatever you want to call them. All I know is it's good meat, and it's cut just the way that we like it. And I encourage you to give this a shot yourself. It's not really that hard. Just make sure you're always pulling the meat apart, and then letting your knife kind of just stroke it lightly and let it come apart, and pull it apart by hand wherever you can too. If you start getting lost, it's really at first it seems like this is impossible, but once you get into it, you'll start to say, oh yeah, shoot, this is really nothing to it. So from Whitetail Native Chronicles, I want to thank you for watching. I've had fun doing this. We had a great day yesterday hunting. It was a great hunt. This bear got with 45-120 with a cast bullet, 535 grain cast bullet. So that's one of the bullets that I cast and reload for. So single shot rifle, Ruger #1. It's a great day. 100-yard shot, boom, just dropped that bear, anchored him right to the spot. He didn't go nowhere. No meat destruction. It's one of the things you get with cast bullets. They're moving at a little slower velocity. So they don't, that velocity is what really destroys meat and blows it up and ruptures it. With the slower velocity bullet does much less destruction. If you want the power, you just make up for it in terms of a larger diameter bullet and a heavier bullet. And you can still hit them hard. Maybe not be a real flat shooting trajectory, but you know, we shoot with iron sights anyways, you know, shoots plenty flat enough. So it's something to consider, and I appreciate your subscribing. If you haven't already, I encourage you to do so. And click that bell icon too while you're at it. That way you get notified when a new video comes out. So from the Way to Native Chronicles, God bless.